So, I have a little tale for you. So one night, the king and queen of hearts was having a party, and they had all their fellow guests, kings and queens of the different lands, come to their party. And I want to explain what each of the suits means. So you have the king and queen of spades. The four suits represent the four duties of the king to his kingdom. The spades represent the earth, to till the earth, to take care of the earth, to have a bountiful harvest, and to take care of one's people. The king and queen of diamonds represents fortune, to have a powerful kingdom with many riches, and to be a great kingdom of the land. The king and queen of clubs represents war and battle and strength, to be able to take care of one's kingdom and one's people. And the king and queen of hearts represents lust and love and the emotions and what it takes to be a king and to rule. So the king and queen of hearts and all their guests were gathered around the table, and they were eating and feasting. And at the end of the evening, after the feast was over, the king and queen of hearts called out their joker to perform for all his guests. So the joker came out, and he juggled, and he blew fire, and he told jokes, and everyone was amused. So as the evening was ending, the king of hearts wasn't ready for his guests to leave. So he wanted to prove to them that he was the greatest king, because he is the king of hearts, and that is filled with pride and of emotion. And he told his joker, "Do one last trick for us, joker." And the joker said, "Anything, your highness. What would you prefer? What would you like for me to do?" And the king of hearts said, "I would like for you to tell my future." And all the guests gathered around, set up with smiles on their face, and very inquisitively looked at the joker. And the joker said to the king of hearts, "It's not good, sire, for a man to know too much of his own future." But because the king of hearts was a man who was ruled by his emotions, he called down to the joker and he said, "If you do not do as I ask you, joker, I will throw you into the deepest, darkest dungeons, and there you will wait for years until I am ready to see you once again." And the joker, with shadows across his face and an uneasy look, said, "Fine, your highness, I will tell you your future. Before this night is over, you will be dead." And all the guests were a gasp covered the hall. And the king of hearts says, "What do you mean I'll be dead? I'm feasting and partying with all of my friends and all of my subjects. Why will I be dead?" And the joker said, "Well, the king of hearts is what we call the suicide king. And you will not die by any foe's hands, but you will die by your own." And the king of hearts said, "That's impossible. I feel fine. I am not depressed. I am happy and joyful." And the joker said, "Yes, but you will die tonight. And your queen, who is also ruled by her heart, will be so taken back by her grief and her pain of your loss that her heart will burst open and she will be consumed in flame." And at that moment, the queen of hearts, who herself, being the queen of hearts, was very emotional, went to erupt out of her chair. And as she did, she knocked over the candles and the food that was lining the table, this grand table. And the candles fell back on her beautiful queenly gowns, and they set her gowns on fire. And as the flames began to rise, the guests looked on in horror as she was consumed by flame. And the queen was engulfed in the flame, and she fell down dead. And the King of Hearts, disturbed and having his own heart broken by witnessing the death of his queen, took from his scabbard his sword and fell upon it dead. The end.